And we are live. How's it going, everyone? Today we have a super special guest here from the Solana ecosystem. I have Data Blitz joining me from Fabric. How's it going, man?
Hey, it's going really well. How are you doing?
Oh, it's nice. It's great to have you guys on. I know you guys have been doing some cool things on Solana, making some noise. You guys building an innovative product. I know the yields are really nice. I've definitely checked those out. And then you guys had a lot of buzz going around your NFTs, and I think those are pretty unique. So, for anyone who doesn't know, you want to just give a boilerplate on yourself, Data Blitz, and then a little introduction into the Fabric ecosystem.
Yeah, so hello everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I go by Databits. My background is in marketing and videography, and my role at Fabric is community lead. I joined crypto in 2016 after I started mining on my computer to gain more exposure to Bitcoin. And ever since then, I basically fell into the crypto Twitter rabbit hole. I started, like the majority of people, by buying the market top. But something that helped me stick around through the bear market was following some CT personalities like Flood, Donald, Nomad, Cred, Gainsey, Cobain, Angelo, Romano, and Actual Advice Bitcoin. Those guys kind of paved what kind of like my idea of what I should be looking for in crypto Twitter. So I rode the Uniswap wave. Pretty much that unfolded DeFi as a whole, and it led to the Solana DeFi wave, which led me to be here with the amazing Fabric team.
Yeah, that's crazy. And that's a very similar story. I feel like a lot of people stumbling on crypto Twitter. I actually have a funny story as well. All of those crypto Twitter influencers, for lack of better terms, have provided like very well guidance for myself. And it sounds like you and a bunch of other new people. I actually DM'd Hasu and I was like, how do I get more
Uh,
into crypto? And it was just a cold DM. And he ended up
yeah,
responding and he's like, look, write some blogs, get involved, publish your trades. And within like 3 days of joining crypto Twitter, like I already found myself starting to work on like the beginnings of BSC news and what we've built now to DeFi Direct. So I think that's just a great testament and wanted to share my experience as well, because I'm sure there's people in chat or watching that maybe want to get into DeFi and crypto and don't know where the best place to start is. And for I mean, it's really as simple as starting a crypto Twitter and getting involved. So I think that's pretty unique. And it's nice to hear that a lot of people share that same experience. And to get into Fabric a little bit more, let's touch on the growth of or the need for decentralized derivatives and sort of where Fabric stands in all of this.
yeah. So pretty much, Fabric is a decentralized synthetic issuance protocol. We aim to open the doors to trading commodities, popular crypto assets not on Solana, stocks, and exotic assets such as inverse indexes to everyone, with a much smaller entry barrier. Many people don't have exposure to synthetics because of high gas fees on other blockchains. This prohibits users from trading synthetics regularly, adding liquidity to an AMM pool, or harvesting rewards. So Fabric's goals are to make this more efficient by building on Solana.
Awesome. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense there. And I know it seems like your model is somewhat like synthetics, but it has just that massive upside of the scalability that Solana offers and the lower gas fees. And just to take a brief pause here, Gangster Party has been going at it with the donations here. And you
No
asked
way.
I really appreciate it. I just wanted to shout it out because I didn't want it to go unnoticed. But you asked a question, Gangster Party, what planet is Fab from? I know our sister project is like on Saturn. Want to send them a care package. Neither I or Databits knew the answer to that. So if you want to maybe reword the question, that would help us out a little bit. But just wanted to address that. We do see you in the chat, Gangster Party, and it's very much appreciated.
Yeah,
And
we
kind of
love you.
just, yeah, we love the support, guys. Everyone's showing out in chat, and we will open this up to a small little Q&A at the end if you guys have some good questions. To keep this moving forward, I have a little bit of a fun question here, and I'll just open it up. Sort of being decentralized and with all the regulation space going on, where do you guys sort of stand offering derivatives? I know right now it's a massive positive, right? Like being decentralized and offering derivatives while regulation is coming down on centralized exchanges, it's obviously a great product that I would be potentially looking to use. Where do you guys stand on that? And do you have any sort of outlook, or just going with the flow as is everyone else?
So our current stance is that innovative tech requires innovative legislation. It also highlights why protocols can't really rely on centralized offerings when it comes to matters of crypto, DeFi, or blockchain. We're not planning on getting rid of our royalty rewards, and additionally, we will be ensuring that our reward distribution mechanism is built in a trustless and decentralized way that won't rely on any input from any individual. Um, this way, rewards will be distributed in perpetuity, and we will only discontinue the rewards if the Fab DAO deems it appropriate. So, on top of all this, we pretty much regularly stay in communication with our legal counsel to ensure we have the right footing.
100%. And that's what it seems to be like in this space, just being proactive. And at the end of the day, it's like, it's always that question, right? Like, how much innovative tech can you push for in the current regulation space? So I think it's important to keep an eye on, but it sounds like you guys are definitely doing that. And to my understanding, synthetic assets are on the way. They're close, coming to DevNet near you soon. What sort of does Fabric currently offer at the moment for its users?
Mm, okay. Well, pretty much at the moment, we offer triple yields in our Fab USDC pool, LP pool, because you would have to add liquidity to Radium first to get your LP tokens and then take those over to our liquidity pools. But since we do not keep any of the tokens that are given to us by our partners that we host on our Fabric mining pools, liquidity mining pools, we're able to pretty much reward all of our users in our Fab USDC LP pool with G Sale and Apex rewards on top of Fab emissions, creating the first triple yield pool on Solana.
Yeah, and I think that's truly unique there. And it's a great way to bootstrap and incentivize early users who are supporting the Fab ecosystem. Because, I mean, I'm sure, as you know, like getting those initial users to jump on, use your D app, and actually give feedback is massive. So that's pretty big there. You mentioned the G Sale token. Is that a synthetic asset, or can you elaborate on that? I'm not
No,
too. Yeah,
the
yeah.
G Cell token is from the sale community from their
Okay.
protocol. So that would be from them. So that's what they're emitting as rewards on our pool. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And you guys are, yeah, we've seen the double yield, but the triple yield is definitely novel. And just moving forward here, looks like synthetic assets are super close. Sort of, where are you guys being held up right now? And then I'll just jump over here. Like, you guys are still on track for the roadmap, but these are always fun questions to ask, right? When mainnet?
Yeah, so pretty much right now we're working on launching our open beta on DevNet this quarter. So since we're a small team, I would say that's pretty much what keeps us, I guess, caught up in this stage. But this will be changing soon because we're able to make some hires with which we'll be able to talk about from our raising from the capital we raised from Fab Punks. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. And that's something great. I think that'd be fun to even just jump onto that right now. We can talk a little bit about the NFT sale. And this has been something that's going on. There's been a ton of success, and we've seen projects. It's amazing for bootstrapping a community and getting initial funds, but there's been a lot of cash grabs. Sort of, what is Fabric's stance on this, and how do you guys sort of look to really get the community involved and have this as fair as possible?
So yeah, there has been a lot of cash grabs, especially at this point of the NFT cycle. I, in my opinion, we're pretty much at the tail of it. But yeah, pretty much the Fab Punks were pretty much as a way for us to raise capital, of course, right? And hang on, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Sorry, my mic is sort of cutting up. Is it cutting up for you?
I think we're good on my end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then we'll see if anyone in the chat lets us know. But I think we're good to go whenever
Okay.
you're ready.
Okay. So sorry, I think it was just me. But pretty much as a result of owning a Fab Punk, you will not only receive secondary royalties from the secondary sales, but you will also receive a part of the synthetic fees that will be generated by the DApp. And this ensures that Fab Punks will continue to bring value to all holders, since they will be reaping pretty much the Fabric ecosystem's synthetic minting and burning fees.
Yeah, that's awesome. I like how there is the profit share system in there. And I personally myself, I got egged on to pick up a couple Fab Punks. So those royalties have definitely been fun, kind of nice to just open up the wallet. And it's like, oh, cool, I can go buy some new NFTs or whatever. So I definitely think that's interesting. You touched a little bit on the process of fundraising and using that to expand the team. That definitely is like massive, right? Using
Mhm.
these funds that now this will be able to speed up a lot of production. How have you guys outlined the use of those funds? And it seems like you guys are already sort of taking the right steps there to benefit the community.
So we pretty much raised around what was it, 13,000 Solana, right?
Mhm.
So the funds went straight to the Fabric treasury. 3,000 Solana was allocated and liquidated to pay for a security audit, um, development overhead, and hosting. And also 3 new hires, as well as legal counsel, fees to the NFT artist, and also additional overhead. So pretty much that's where the funds went to, and pretty much they're still in the treasury.
Yeah, and that's amazing. It sounds like they I mean, those are all things that are going to benefit the future of the project and the community. And that's sort of what I was trying to get at with those questions. Like, NFTs are all great and shiny and everyone loves them, but what is actually going on with the raise? So it's nice to see projects being transparent about where they're using these funds and such. And I just wanted to take that quick little tangent there because NFTs are obviously fun, get the community rowdy. How have you guys seen sort of, has this had a beneficial impact on the community? I know that this is a little bit more down your alley. How's the success been with that?
I'll be honest, in the beginning, there wasn't really much positive feedback from the older community members. They thought that we were pretty much focusing more on NFTs rather than the roadmap. And and it's understandable because at the moment we were focused on the launch of the Fab Punks, and I guess they did feel like we weren't focusing on the DApp as much, which it's completely understandable. But we pretty much cleared that up. That pretty much for the moment we were focused on the Fab Punks because obviously we don't want people to feel like it was a cash grab, and also since the utility will come down the line in Q1 of 2022, I feel like that's one of the reasons why also they felt like pretty much that some people felt like Fab Punks weren't doing pretty much enough like other NFT projects to get influencers on board and to sweep the floors and things like that. But pretty much the Fab Punks will bring a utility to everybody by just holding it in your wallet. And once the DApp fees start pretty much ramping up, if you look at the volume from other synthetic platforms, I think that the fees generated from the DApp will pretty much exceed the secondary sales really fast.
Yeah, and I think that's really interesting and unique, and it's almost just like, okay, for some users, it may have seemed like a step back, but it almost seems like you guys are now 3, 4 steps forward, getting new hires and really speeding everything up. I'm seeing a lot of people just asking about DevNet, Mainnet, looking at the chatter. I do have the roadmap pulled up here, so can maybe shed some light on that. It looks like DevNet is coming potentially by the end of the year, if you guys are still on track there, and then Mainnet sometime early next year. Is that still sort of the consensus on your guys' end?
Yep. So we're pretty much trying to push out DevNet as fast as possible because we are aware of other synthetic platforms starting to come up on Solana. So we definitely want to stay on track, pretty much in the roadmap. And since we already mentioned that we will have some new hires coming on board, this will obviously speed things up.
Yeah. And something I'm a little bit curious about. You talked about other synthetic assets. I know, at least to my understanding, this model is a little bit different than other decentralized derivative products. Sort of what does Fabric have to offer that sets it apart from other synthetic assets? And I think we've already touched on some of these things a little with what you guys have going on in the ecosystem.
Right. So we will have multiple forms of collateral within our ecosystem. Um, and we will have a wide range of synthetics, including novel assets such as uranium. Uh, we will also be developing features outside of the synthetics offering. We have protocol integrations with Chainlink, Mercurial, Parrot Finance, Larix, Aldrin, Clover Finance, Sonar, Step, Symmetry, Coin98. Sale, Apex it, and a lot more planned. So I feel like we're pretty much on our way to pretty much being one of the first synthetic platforms on the market. Yeah.
Yeah, and that sounds amazing. How has it been sort of working in the Solana ecosystem? From my little dabbling inside, it looks like it's very community based, and sort of just from that, the partners or even projects you guys are in contact with or working with, it seems like there's a lot of heavyweights there. Has it definitely felt like a nice community aspect building on Solana?
It definitely has, because um me, like, I can't, since you know how crypto Twitter works, it's all community based. So coming onto Solana, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of like there's opportunities everywhere, because not only are most of the people willing to help you pretty much get onto Solana, but developers are also there to help other developers build on Solana, which is one of the things that I never really saw on other chains. I did see it on Ethereum, of course. There's people always willing to help, but I never saw it to this extent on other chains other than Solana.
Yeah, definitely. I've noticed that as well. And I mean, just when you were saying, like, talking about the list, it like that popped right in my head. So I was curious how you guys were dealing with that firsthand. Kind of to get into just some more fun questions that I like to ask myself. There's just like these are just kind of fun DeFi and inflation questions. So
Yeah.
specifically for synthetics, you guys are using Fab as collateral.
Right.
How are you guys looking to sort of ensure that there's not massive liquidations and issues, because Fab does have decent volatility, especially with sort of the emissions curve? So I guess this is a two-part question. How do you ensure Fab sort of stability or kind of reduce liquidations of collateral? And then on the second end, what is sort of the plan with the emission curves there?
Right. So pretty much Fabric is designed in a way to align users' incentives with the health of the Fabric ecosystem. So we envision onboarding two types of buyer persona. The first being the Solana native that wants to stake their Fabric and gain a number of different rewards. When a Fabric user stakes their Fabric, they will be receiving Serum Dex rewards, synth minting and burning rewards, and inflationary rewards. So additionally, when they stake, they will receive FUSD, which they can use to gain exposure to our synthetic assets. For those not aware, FUSD is pegged to the dollar. So most importantly, they can remove their FUSD from the ecosystem to use in one of the stablecoin pools that will set up that we will set up with our partner protocols. And this is important because as they're doing this, they will not only generate additional yield, but will also facilitate a secondary on-ramp for our second buyer persona, which will be the synthetic traders.
Okay, awesome. So there's sort of like this dual purpose there. And it almost sounds like the goal is obviously incentivize those early users who are help bootstrapping everything. But once emissions run out, it sounds like there's other mechanisms in place, just from serum swap fees and then other trading fees that'll be allocated towards these fab stakers, correct?
So pretty much 60% of our supply is already reserved for emissions. So the community who support the DApp what would allow us to pretty much create deep liquidity while also allowing us to balance incentives while they're providing this liquidity to the DApp, and since we have 60% of the supply already allocated for emissions, this should give us a long time to pretty much keep this going. And this will also leave us around 20% for partnerships and 12% for the team.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah, and that's obviously important as well. I'm curious. So, with the inflation and sort of token volatility, it's normal in crypto. What is like, how are you guys ensuring that these synthetic markets can be not, I was going to say propped up, but that's the wrong term. How are these synthetic markets going to be like actually stable and collateralized by this cryptocurrency if we do see some sort of downturn in the market?
So pretty much, I guess we can agree that the protocol will rely on being on having Fab staked inside the protocol heavily. So for this, we will be balancing the incentives that will pretty much reward users to keep staking their Fab and will allow FUSD to stay pegged to the dollar. So this is one of the things that we feel that the 60% emissions is going to help us down the line, because with these price swings, we do understand that it can pretty much liquidate a bunch of people. So this is one of the reasons why we have the 1000% collateral ratio, which is also subject to change down the line, depending on the volatility of Fabric. But we feel that the reserve of 60% of the supply will allow us to pretty much balance the rewards to keep people inside the DApp, so that we don't have as much liquidations as possible.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like it makes sense. And I was actually curious last night. I was like, oh, they're like 1,000% collateralization ratio. Like that obviously makes a ton of sense. You want to err on the side of caution with these things, especially when you have just volatility in crypto markets. Like seeing 20% price swings on any given altcoin is sort of the status quo. I jumped on and I actually saw that Synthetics had a 750% collateralization ratio. And I just think, cool, it might be a little bit more capital efficient, but like you're saying, your guys' collateralization ratio is subject to change. I imagine via DAO voting would probably be the most likely way.
Exactly. Yeah.
I like that you guys are erring on the side of caution to begin with, is sort of what I wanted to get at there.
Definitely. So yeah, that's the whole reason for the 1000% ratio. But of course, we have the other way for synthetic users to pretty much just on ramp, which would be by buying FUSD 1-1 pretty much with USDC or USDT. So we know that it's not a capital efficient way to pretty much buy mint and burn synthetics by staking your Fab, but that's why we have we envision two type of personas to onboard, which would be one, the Solana native, which would be people who are looking for yields and rewards for staking their Fabric, and then two, the synthetics user who will most likely not really care about the rewards that are coming out from staking their Fabric, but by being able to on ramp by just buying FUSD on the market.
And will they be able to access leverage in those markets, or would it just be through FUSD?
No, at the moment we don't plan on using leverage. No.
Okay.
From my understanding. Sorry.
Yeah. And I think the real unique thing here, and I kind of wanted to touch on, and you pointed out a little bit, what are some of like the assets you guys are looking to support? You mentioned uranium. I think that would be cool. The first thing that pops into my mind is like, oh, synthetic tungsten cubes. But I'm just curious what you guys have there. And I think that's something that's really interesting, like really opening up the barrier to markets and like what people can access, I think is massive.
Right. So pretty much, obviously, as you mentioned, uranium, and funny enough, we do plan to offer tungsten as soon as we launch our DApp. So we always envision to be able to trade lumber and things like that on the Synthetics platform, but we're honestly open to anything that's in demand as long as there's a clear price feed. We don't see any reason to not open the doors to this asset or whichever asset people would like.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense there. And I'm curious, with synthetic assets, like people hear this word synthetic and they're like, oh, I'm buying fake stocks or whatever. I think that was even like a big headline from traditional media when Mirror Protocol was first starting to gain popularity. Can you sort of touch on how these peg price are maintained? I think you guys even have a model of some sort. If you drop below the peg, there's some incentive to mint burn whatever FUSD. I don't know. Maybe you could shed some light on that for me.
Right. So pretty much the way it works is the fees generated by the DApp will market by Fabric, and these will also the FUSD will market by Fabric, which will also be rewarded back to the stakers inside DApp.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. And then I'm just curious, as for price feeds like oracles, that's obviously pretty important. And I know this is a little bit more technical end, but how do you guys like pick your oracle provider? I'm pretty sure you just have someone who's fairly trusted, or how does that process work, if you have any insight on that?
So
Where
we
do you
pretty
Yeah.
much, sorry about that. We pretty much plan to partner up with multiple Oracle networks. So for the moment, we're partnered with Pyth and Chainlink, but obviously we're looking to expand if necessary.
Yeah, definitely. And those are like the two big dogs in the space. So it's nice to hear that those names are providing or will be providing Oracle feeds. And I'm getting down to the end of my questions. I got a couple more things I want to wrap up, but if anyone in the community just wants to start firing off questions, we'll definitely go through theirs and see if Databits can't help us out there. But I'm just kind of curious on your end, what are you most excited for community wise? I'm seeing a big turnout to these live streams. That's been sort of a constant, or it's a reoccurring factor for a lot of these Solana projects. How are you looking to kind of further this community even more?
So pretty much, we just plan to stay involved. That's the main thing. Is pretty much showing up every day and letting the community know that we're not going anywhere. So with this, we plan to host more community nights. Right now, we have Fridays scheduled to pretty much be our main community nights, and we will pretty much plan on bringing a lot of communities together because I'm not sure if you saw last stream, but we we pretty much have BBJK26, who's a Twitch streamer, and he's also in a number of communities inside Solana. And not it was pretty awesome because it wasn't only the Fab Punks that were there hanging out and getting giveaway prizes for playing games. It was also people from the Tree DAO, people from Shark Bros, and honestly, there was a few other communities, but pretty much we plan on pretty much bridging all these communities together. A lot of people talk about bridging layer ones, but no one talks about bridging communities.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely powerful. Something that like I've noticed is sometimes there's competition between communities and it really doesn't make sense. Like crypto, especially DeFi, is so small. It makes so much more sense to kind of band together and leverage the entire DeFi community as a whole. And it seems like between the NFTs and sort of jumping on and doing these community events, like Fabric is really fostering it. And I think that's what is kind of underrated about the NFTs. Like it's double sided. If you can perform a nice launch where it's not a cash grab and the community's happy with the art and feels like they're a part of something, you not only get sort of these funds that allowed you guys to accelerate your development and better the D app and the ecosystem as a whole, you also have this other arm of strong community members who are a part of something and actually have a say. So I think that is pretty incredibly important there. Let me see if we've gotten any questions. Raven Doug is just saying that it was an insane community night. I might have to make it out to the next one. Where are these held? And you said Fridays?
Yeah, Friday. So you could just check up on our Discord and you will see pretty much the posts that we make. But I think it's pretty awesome because it's one of the things that I've learned from being in NFTs. I didn't start out as community lead here at Fabric. I am a Fab airdrop holder, like a lot of people in the community. And after being active in the Discord, I was offered mod role, which then led to community lead. The only reason I took the role was because after writing the NFT wave, I learned what a real community is supposed to feel like. And I took my chance at translating that over to the Fabric Discord. And I feel like I've been pretty successful at it. But honestly, I can't take all the credit because we have a bunch of amazing community members like Gangster Party who contribute so much. And pretty much, yeah. We had our share of alpha during the NFT cycle. We minted a bunch of great projects like Solstead, Soul Socks, and Crypto Cubs and things like that. And we obviously host those community game nights to keep the community together still. And pretty much the goal is to leverage our community into the Fab DAO for the Synthetics DApp. I've seen how successful a lot of DAOs are. Like the Degen Ape DAO or the SoulSock DAO or the Trees DAO. And pretty much I'm trying to stay involved inside all of those DAOs themselves so that I can translate also all those great things over to our DAO once it's launched.
Yeah, and I think that's incredible, right? Because a lot of these things they get very high level, like governance of a decentralized protocol, like how is it important? So even just you saying like, okay, look, I'm going to pay attention what's going on in these other ones, I think that's sort of a great step and way to like recreate it, because at the end of the day, a lot of this is novel, what's going on. So being involved, seeing what's working and what's not seems pretty big. Just to jump onto some other questions here. Gangster Party is still ripping off donations, buying more Fab. Gangster Party is the Giga Bull, apparently. Ligma Steves is asking, how do you get started in DeFi and crypto? I'll maybe head this one off and then you might have some good answers. First thing, just a little self plug. You can always check out BSC News, SolanaNews, DeFi Direct. I'll drop some links in a second. But honestly, what me and Data Blitz were just talking about in the beginning is really, for me, it's jumping on crypto Twitter and getting active in the community and finding sort of your niche or your edge in the market, whether it's liking NFTs on a certain blockchain or really into DeFi apps. And I think the key is just getting involved. There's so many people looking for talent in crypto. And if you're willing to learn, jump on things, I think it's pretty easy to get onboarded. Granted, it's only getting more competitive. So I would just say jumping on it and actually just giving effort and being involved in the community is the right way to go. Like even Data Blitz was just talking about how he started as a Fab airdrop holder and worked his way into the community. So that's my 2 cents there. And then I'll drop just a couple links on where you can actually get started as well.
Yep, he's 100% correct.
Perfect. Yeah. And I mean, it's very, that's the nice thing about DeFi. It's very new, user friendly. It's just you have to be willing to get into it and active in the ecosystem. Gangster Party is asking me another question here. Do you view a Blockstream service on Solana down the road where we can send NFTs and tokens off chain? I don't know if he's talking about a cross chain bridge or if something else. Maybe you can shed light on that, or Gangster Party might just be 0 for 2 on questions today.
Honestly, I have no idea how to answer his question. He sounds like he knows what he's talking about, though.
Fair enough. I would, Gangster Party, if I was you, I'd go harass Fabric in the Discord some more and get some answers to your questions. Other than that, let me see if we got anything else and we'll start to wrap this up. So shoot off any of your last minute questions. I'll be sure to get to them. Delmol was potentially even elaborating on Gangster Party. Said, so you mean other different blockchains? Gangster Party's coming back and saying, Oh, this is like very high level. I would not even be able to answer this. So if you had no internet access and you're putting up satellites, I'm not even going to ask you that question because I think it's difficult. And that's a very good question. Um, I'm very excited for mainnet first, and then maybe we can start getting into satellite questions and offline blockchain. Gangster Party is absolutely the gigable, though. Let's see. Ligma Steves, lots of people are talking about Web3 and how we are building rather than consuming. How is Fabric building the overall crypto space with other communities?
So pretty much, Fabric is allowing people to trade uh, outside assets inside of the Solana blockchain. And what's cool about it is that you're not going to need to have a lot of money to onboard. So just like the way I started, when I got onto Solana, I only started with around maybe $20 to $30, and I was able to mess around with that amount of money in DeFi, which to me is amazing. Because if you come from Ethereum, just a confirmation costs you around $5. Well, back then, today it'll probably cost you around $20 to $30. So to me, it was amazing how I was able to interact with smart contracts for such low fees. And in my opinion, Fabric is building on Solana for those reasons, and pretty much that's why we're here, to pretty much open the doors to everybody and also build Web3, because we're all a part of Web3 whether we know it or not. But yeah, we're pretty much building the landscape to the financial system on the internet, and it's amazing that literally everybody here in the chat and in the stream is a part of it.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely incredible, and we're already seeing it with you guys' community nights and working with other projects throughout the Solana ecosystem. I think this will be one of the final questions here. Vikrant is asking what collateral will be supported on Fabric. I think there's one easy answer for sure, and then not sure if you guys have finalized the others.
No, I mean, we haven't really released much information on it besides Fabric, and I think that's about all the information that we have released so far. But
Yeah. And it
yeah.
sounds like it's only going to ramp up from here, right? With the DevNet coming out, and then Q1 of 2022 really sounds like when the fireworks will really be showing out. What would you say? And I mean, this was probably a bad question, but we'll wrap it up with this. What are you most excited about coming to the Fabric ecosystem?
For me, obviously, it would have to be the DAO, because the way I see DAOs, I think that they're pretty much also adding a huge part of the DeFi system. Um, oh, sorry, I was looking at the chat. I have some alpha to pretty much to give you guys, because it didn't really come up during our conversations, but
Awesome. Yeah,
I will give it to you guys after. But pretty much, I'm excited for the DAO, because in my opinion, the DAO is like the law of DeFi, and with the Fab DAO, we'll be able to make pretty much on-chain voting a part of Fabric. So that's what I'm most excited for, because the way I see DAOs, I feel like they're going to be the country clubs of the future, mainly because the SolSock DAO is showing me, uh, honestly, the potential of what DAOs can be. For example, they just purchased a SMB NFT. For those not aware, it's a Solana Monkey Business NFT for 2,000 Solana. So what they're doing with this is they're adding it to the vault, and they're fractionalizing it, and they're going to create a token for it, which we have seen that fractionalizing NFTs is an extremely innovative way to pretty much allow everybody to own a piece of art. And in my opinion, I feel like DAOs are just going to pretty much take over a bunch of social clubs, and we already see that now with NFTs like Bored Ape Yacht Club and Punk. So I feel like DAOs are definitely going to play a huge part in DeFi, and that's why I'm excited for the Fab DAO and to see what we can bring to it, and pretty much
definitely.
bring value to everybody in it.
Yeah, and I think that sort of unlocks, it's getting close to that final step of like true decentralization, really turning it open to the project users in the community to run things. I'm curious now, you mentioned alpha. I think everyone's ready for some alpha.
Right. So pretty much we are rebranding our Fabric liquidity mining pools. They used to well, they're right now their name are the Osmosis pools, but we want to pretty much create kind of like a community challenge where we will give some fabric to the top 3 names for the pools, and pretty much we'll figure this out how we will either do this on the Discord or on Twitter or something like that. But the top 3 suggestions will get some fabric rewards for helping us rename the Osmosis pools, because we do know there's some confusion when it comes to the name. Some people think they're going to receive some Osmosis token, which is totally not the case. But it's not their fault. It's not their fault. So pretty much that's the first piece of alpha, the rebranding of the Osmosis pools. And so we will have a competition for the community to rename it. And the second piece of alpha is that since we are hosting the Keems pool in our liquidity pools, we will be airdropping the Keems token to all the LP providers inside of the triple yield pool. So everybody who's in there, I think we already took the snapshot the past couple of days ago. So everybody with at least 50 LP tokens inside of the triple yield pool will receive some Keems token airdrop to them. And for the last piece of
Ooh, we got all the alpha today.
the last piece of alpha is that we're keeping the secondary sales royalties at 100% for a while. We're not planning on taking this away for until probably until the DApp comes out or something like that. But pretty much you can pretty much have you can rest assured that you're going to have 100% royalties coming to you for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that airdrop is amazing. Who doesn't get excited about the airdrop? It's nice seeing like you guys are really looking to incentivize and get the community involved is what I'm seeing from this all. Like keeping the royalty fees, giving those NFTs that further use case, giving back to the community, and then involving the community in a challenge. Like that's always fun. You're seeing some people are getting confused with the names of things, so it's like, okay, let's take a step back and see what the community is doing, sort of revolving around these DAO ideals. And then last but not least, what am I missing here? I think it's just like seeing the innovation in the sense of, okay, look, we have this triple yield pool. You're in the triple yield pool, you get an airdrop as well. So it's like, is this a quadruple yield pool? What is going on? I think that's extremely exciting there. And I also really appreciate you sharing all of that information there. And it seems like the community is getting fired up about these things here. Other than that, I think I'm ready to wrap this up unless we have like unlimited alpha leaks coming out today. But I really appreciate you joining us on here, Data Blitz, and getting to know Fabric a bit more and some insight into the platform. There's already a ton going on, and I'm just excited to hear that through all of this, while you guys are building, you guys have been able to find a way to get the community involved and speed up development simultaneously. So I'm excited for the future, and it really seems like what is coming out of Fabric is really just starting. So I'm excited to see what's going on, and I really appreciate you jumping on and joining us for this live stream.
Yeah, thank you so much for hosting us. Obviously, you did an amazing job, and I hope we see you in the community game nights. That would be really awesome.
Yeah, and I think this can be a recurring thing. I'll jump into the community game nights, have some fun with you guys, and we'll jump back and forth. We'll definitely, for sure, I can guarantee by the time mainnet's on that you guys will be back on here again, sharing, just talking about Fabric, where you guys are at. So other than that, I'm going to boot you off here, give a quick little summary, shill some things, and then close it all up. But really appreciate you joining in, and I look forward to jumping on and chatting with you in the future, man.
Thank you. Yeah, hopefully next time we can maybe do this in VR if you're down. We spoke about this with the Grape protocol, and they were also down. So maybe one day we'll be able to do that.
Yeah, if you could give us some insight there, I would be 100% game for that.
Yeah,
all right,
definitely.
We will for sure keep in contact on that.
Okay,
Peace,
thank you
peace.
so much for having me. I will see you on the next one.
Yep. All right, I'm just gonna close this up here. Just looking at this, like we didn't talk much about the staking page. There's a lot of TVL, 5 million TVL, and these yields are pretty high here. So if this isn't something you're already familiar with, this could be an interesting yield farm to look into. But just to summarize it, DataBlitz shared a lot of information with us, and what I really took away was just this intersection between community and building. And it seems like Fabric's found this nice balance of building a community, getting people that show up that are dedicated to the project, but also leveraging that community to be able to further their development and building. So with that being said, amazing job going on at the Fabric D app. And I just want to shill our socials a little bit because we are putting out tons of content. So if you guys could go ahead and subscribe to the channel, that'd be amazingly appreciated. We have live streams with other Solana projects, tons of BSC projects we've had interviews with, and we're only really getting started. I know we have a heavyweight lineup of Solana ecosystem projects coming. So if you want to set that notification icon, we have content coming out every day. And specifically liking this video will let us know that the Fabric community is out here supporting and that we should have them back on. I hope everyone enjoyed and that this live stream was useful and resourceful. Other than that, thank you everyone for